Hi, church family. I'm doing a fireside chat for you here in the middle of the summer on reopening the church for worship. In all reality, even though the church building has been closed, the church has been opening. We've been alive and well since the COVID-19 broke. It's been almost 3 months since we've been able to worship in person together. And so we're still planning to reopen the church for Sunday morning worship on Sunday, June 21st, which is next Sunday, not the upcoming Sunday, but next Sunday. We've always believed that we're doing our best to serve during this time, and there's a lot of unknowns that we are not sure about. But what we do know is that we want to faithfully and safely reopen the church for worship. There's been a lot of debates, a lot of conversation about what's the right time to do it, how do we do it safely. But we would rather allow people the choice of choosing to worship online or choosing to worship in person, and that you can make wise choices. We trust you, we love you, and we want what's best for you. So if your family chooses to stay home and continue to worship with our online service, great. I think over the last 3 months, we've found that our online service is an excellent worship opportunity, and we've had people from all over the world join us in worship over the last 3 months. For some of you, attending worship on Sunday morning in the physical location of the church is a significant part of your connection with God. So we're going to be doing that starting on June the 21st on Sunday. We give you permission to stay home if you choose to stay home and worship. But we also want to give you permission that if you want to come and worship with us on Sunday morning, we'd be glad to have you do that. And we have that attitude of hospitality in all the things that we decide and choose. There are a few details you'll need to know if you are choosing or would like to even try out coming back on Sunday morning for worship. The first thing I want to start off with is please pray for us. We're one of the first churches in the Kansas City district of the Great Plains Conference to open our church to worship on Sunday morning. A lot of our churches are choosing to wait until July or even August around the start of school in order to worship. So we as a connectional system, we don't have a lot of early pioneers who are choosing to become first churches in worshiping. So we need your prayers. We need prayers for protection. We need prayers for our hospitality, graciousness, patience, because we're figuring out as we go. We're using the best practices that we've been told by the Great Plains Conference, by CDC, by the Leavenworth County Health Department, all of the different sources, you know them too, of what's good practice to bring people back safely in gathering at church. Church is one of the higher risk areas that we've been told of gathering together. So we want to do it faithfully, safely. So we need your prayers to start with, especially pray for me. I'm doing the best I can, and there are times it feels a little overwhelming. So here are a few things you need to know. First of all, we're making a virtual tour of what it'll look like and what you can expect when you come back to worship. It'll be posted on our website next week. So that way, if you are thinking it through and you want to see, well, what's the church? How will it be a little different? What's going to be the process? You can pull that up on our website so that you have a better idea of what will it be like. It'll be different. You have to know it's going to be a little different. It'll feel differently just because of some of the social distancing and some of the other components of good, safe hygiene that we're needing to practice. One thing that's going to be different for you is that we're strongly encouraging people to wear masks. We're not going to force you to wear a mask. If you want to come and choose not to wear a mask, we believe that's your right to choose that. We do it as common courtesy. We do it for good health practices. So please wear a mask. We'll have some available if you forget one, or if you'd like to have one but you just don't have one. So wear your mask if you can. Second, we encourage you to use hand sanitizer. The use of hand sanitizer is one of those things, again, it's just common courtesy. It'll help keep you safe. It'll help keep others safe. We'll have the door open when you first come in, depending on the weather. And that's just so we don't have a lot of people touching the door handles. We open the doors on Sunday morning usually anyway, so I don't think that'll feel that much different. We'll have somebody greeting outside, really helping you with social distancing. We want to continue to do that. But we also want to make sure and check in with you to make sure you're feeling well, that you're not feeling sickly or have a fever or anything like that. We're going to try not to be too personally intrusive on that, but we do want you to be aware that we care about your health and we want to keep other people safe too. When you enter the sanctuary, someone will take attendance for you. One of the things we're trying to do is limit the number of things that are commonly touched by people. So we will register your attendance, and we'll do it on the iPad. So all you really have to do is come in and tell us who you are. We know who you are, but tell us your name. and we'll make sure we get your attendance recorded. If we have guests, if you have family members or people who aren't part of our regular congregation, we'll take their name and we'll just add it onto the pad. It should be a really simple process. We'll have hand sanitizer, masks up at the front table. We'll have bottles of water for you because we're going to be taking the drinking fountain out of use. If you need a little bottle of water to have with you, if you want to bring your own, that's fine too. The bathroom will be available, but we ask you just if you're going to use the bathroom, if you need to use it, please make sure and wash your hands just like you would any other time, and wipe down the surfaces that you touch, the handle of the door, the sink handle, all those kinds of things. That way we can keep other people healthy as best we can. You'll be escorted into your seat, and that's something a little different. It's comparable to like if you were going into a restaurant. You check in with the host or the hostess at the front door, and then you'll have a server come and show you to your seat. Now, we are practicing social distancing in the sanctuary, so we have some of it taped off. We don't want that to be inhospitable. We hope that it's welcoming to you. One of the things you'll notice is we've taken everything out of the pews. So there won't be Bibles or hymnals or envelopes there, no pencils or anything like that. Just again, so we can keep the number of things that are commonly touched to people to a bare minimum. We'll have different places. There's a chance you won't be able to sit in your favorite seat because we're going every other row. So again, this will be a chance for you to experiment a little bit, maybe sit on a different side of the church. We're all doing our best. We know it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient for us too. But we want to try and keep people as safe as possible. And we know the guidelines on social distancing are appropriate, and they're reasonable. We've had to adjust to those things in the grocery store and at the pharmacy and standing in line for different things. And so the church is going to adapt those practices too. In worship, one of the things you'll notice is that we will not be doing as much, if any, congregational singing. We'll have song leaders. If you come to the contemporary service, the band will still play. They'll still sing. If you're worshiping with us online, sing as loud as you can. Let us hear you all the way from where your home is. But if you're here with us in person, we're going to ask you not to sing. And for me, that's been one of my hardest decisions about pastoring and the safety of the congregation, because I love to sing. I feel it's a big part of worship. I want to raise a song to the Lord as part of my worship. But I also know that during these times, at least for the time being, worship and singing is one of the things that can continue to carry germs a lot farther than our social distancing. So again, for the sake of others, we're going to ask you not to sing. There will be a song leader, so really it's a chance for you to experience music. You'll be able to see the words. You just won't be able to sing. Hey, I know for some of you, that's your regular Sunday routine because you don't really enjoy singing. For those of us who love to sing, it'll be an adjustment, but we all have to make sacrifices for the good of everybody. Our offering plate will be found in the lobby. We'll have a common table in the middle of the lobby. And so we'll ask people that if you want to provide an offering by dropping your envelope or your check or money in the offering plate, you just do that as you're coming in the sanctuary or exiting the sanctuary. We won't pass the plates through the aisles, again, to reduce the amount of things that are commonly touched by folks. The last part of the service that will seem a little odd is when we have communion, we'll still come up to receive communion, but we'll be really cautious about social distancing, about keeping space between us. You'll receive the piece of bread like you normally have done. Your server will be wearing a mask and have gloves on. We'll be using the small cups to receive communion with instead of the common cup and intention of dipping it in the cup. We think that's just safer. So the cups will be preset and your server will offer you a cup. Our first Sunday for Holy Communion will be on July the 5th. So it's Sunday, July the 5th when we'll have communion. So we want to offer that, but we need to do it safely as well. At the end of the service, you'll be escorted out back to front, just like you would if you've ever attended a funeral or a wedding, to control the traffic flow so we don't get a lot of people bunched up in the lobby. We want to make sure that people are exiting the building in an orderly, in a safe manner. And so we'll open up both the doors so that people can exit out the doors, but we'll try and do that pew at a time so that we can control the traffic flow with that. If you're seated way down in the front, you might have to be a little patient, hear more of the postlude that Tyler will play or the band will play, and then wait for your turn to come out. In between services, we will sanitize and wipe down the surfaces that we know people have used to the best of our ability. That's part of what the hospitality team will be doing. Because of that, we're changing the service times. Our service times until the COVID crisis has passed will be 8:15, 9:45, and 11:15. So if you're an early service person, you'll need to be here a little bit earlier, especially the first few weeks. You can still enter through the ramps or through the front doors at the steps, but we're going to start a little earlier so we have more time in between services. And if you're a late service person, if you come at the 11 o'clock, it'll be a little later, again, just so we have more time to clear the sanctuary out and to wipe down and sanitize the sanctuary. Again, keeping your health and your safety first and foremost in our minds, that we can faithfully and safely worship. I said earlier that we're one of the first churches in our Great Plains conferences in the Kansas City district coming back to worship. But I've been thinking about that over the past few days, and it reminds me of Leavenworth Pioneers. We are the oldest Methodist church in Kansas, and we're the first city of Kansas. So in some ways, maybe it's appropriate that we're one of the first churches to come back to worship. Our congregation is entering a new season of life, and we know that God enters with us. So we can enter it with confidence and boldness, and know that we don't have to have all the answers, that we trust in God, but we want to be smart and use good wisdom and reason when it comes to gathering together. God is pleased when we gather together. And what we've had to do in the last few months is expand our concept of church. That church worship isn't only when we're physically gathered together, but it's also spiritual connection. That we as people of the church are connected with those who have come before us, the great cloud of witnesses, the communion of saints, and we're connected with people all around the world who physically we're not with, but in spirit we are one church. We're the church of people who follow Jesus Christ. I hope you're considering coming back. We're respectful of your decision if you choose not to, but if you are considering coming back, we are really looking forward to Sunday, June 21st at 8:15, 9:45, and 11:15. We'll see you online or in the pews. Thanks.